What's happening, party people? Today is probably going to be the last day for the S60R. Yesterday, I started getting that angle gear sleeve out. Actually finished that up today. Also finished that Honda up today. We replaced the wheel bearings on it on yesterday's video. New wheel bearings bad. So I'm headed to the junkyard down in the jungle. I don't think it's a big deal going to the junkyard in Oakland as much as it is getting to the junkyard in Oakland. That's probably the number one carjacking central in America down there in Oakland. But hey, you gotta keep your windows rolled up tight, keep one foot on the gas, the other foot on the horn. Everything will be fine. So anyway, I'm about to head out to the junkyard. Pick up a few parts for that Honda because that thing is still growling. Hopefully, between getting a couple of hubs and a crossover carrier bearing for that passenger side axle, we'll get that thing rolling smooth again. Put brand new axles in it from the dealer, and it's still making noise. Sad situation. So, getting caught up on a lot of my text messages and getting ready to start moving on to the next gig, helping a few people do some manual swaps. So I hope you enjoyed today's clips. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert. That's me. This video contains things that I encountered throughout the day. If for some reason I complete a task and you would like to see the details, you could click on the link in the description area below. This video also contains tips and tricks that I learned throughout the years. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. Thank you very much for watching. Kicking off today, we were going to go to the Oakland Pool of Pay, but couldn't get that hazard pay, man. It's too risky, too dangerous down there. We didn't have our flap jackets and our war gear, so ordered new parts from the dealer. In the meantime, we're going to tidy up a few things here, try to get this angle gear sleeve out, have that thing ready to pop in tomorrow and hit the ground with this car. About to hook up the TCV. Peterberg is the original manufacturer of these things, and Brian got one from Porsche, but as you can see, they're color coded on the ones they sell to Volvo. At the plug is the red one, goes to the turbo inlet, right under the turbo inlet. On the side is color coded yellow, goes to the wastegate actuator. And on the top is color-coded blue, close to the side one, and that goes to the intake pipe. So here, I put a R for red, a Y for yellow, and the blues up top. Just make sure you don't get those crisscross or you'll be having low boost issues. This coil right here is missing the clip that goes on the top. So we ran the zip tie under part of that plug there, around the inseam of the coil. Zip tied it there. We're going to cut it off, and hopefully that'll keep it plugged in tight enough. Got this vacuum line here that's teed off to the boost gauge, plugged into the bypass on the turbo. Then I got the TCV plugged in to the turbo and the wastegate actuator. Just need to plug this top in into the intake tube. I got the fan in, bolted in, the boost pressure sensor line plugged in and strapped to the fan shroud. Got the fan plugged in. Now I got the coils secure, the breather hose secure, the lid on the spark plug cover, the coil cover on top of the engine. Next, I'm going to hook up the OTE pipe. Get that in, clamped on the turbo. Then I'll put the turbo intake on and then put the air box on. Oh, I'm going to bleed this clutch before I hook up this turbo intake, because that's kind of hard to reach down there. Got that R cover installed, 2 screws there, 2 grommets there, bam. Now I need to put the OTE pipe on. Tighten the exhaust bolts on, put this heat shield on. before I put this OTE pipe on. Time to bleed the clutch. Got that totally maxed out. Got a little hose on there. I think I cracked the bleeder open. Got something down there to catch it. And Brian's gonna step on the clutch. Yep, that's what it does. Till it's bled. Cold side wasn't clocked right. It's clocked now. Had to loosen 5 of those 10mm bolts and turn it a little bit clockwise, so that's probably a good spot right there. Got that turbo inlet tube in. Man, that thing is tight in there, and even with those heater junction coolant lines, you got to go in with the opening of it down and then turn it to the turbo to get that thing in there. So we got everything hooked up, getting ready to drop the air box in. Then we're going to do oil. Then we're going to do power steering fluid. Then we're going to do suspension stuff. Try to get that collar sleeve out of that transmission. One thing I was missing was the bracket for the airbox, the lower forward bracket. It bolts on to the starter lugs, and the coolant hose hooks onto there. And then this wire harness has a clamp that gets screwed in right there. So don't forget that starter airbox bracket. Airbox in, the air snorkel in. Now it's time to hit some fluids. And after that, the suspension. Man, a lot of that S60 doesn't go back together well. We're getting it figured out. Time to take a lunch break. Come back in a couple hours. Back at it. Man, look at this thing coming together. Not sure why there's tape over these on both sides. Must be something going on with the headlights. Anyway, I'm getting ready to put this ECU cover on, hook up the windshield washer fluid bottle, put some coolant in this thing, put some power steering fluid in this thing, put some oil in this thing, and get ready to hook up the battery. Woo woo! Filled the reservoir up with coolant. Man, I got about 2 gallons in there. Of course, I had the heater cord disconnected, the radiator emptied out, the engine was emptied out. And it sounds really weird hearing the air come out of the system. I could hear the coolant moving in the radiator and in the engine. Wow. So I'm going to find what oil we're going to put in here and the power steering fluid. Get those fluids in. Pulled this knuckle out, put it in a vise. Knocked this ball joint out. It was sloppy, had some damage. Used this big socket here. What is this, a 1 3/16? Put it over there, it fit over the boot, and put something to protect the threads. Pound that thing in. After I put the screws in, screwed them down about halfway to guide it. Got that thing seated pretty much. Screwed these the rest of the way in. Tapped it the rest of the way in with the chisel. Took about 5 minutes. Got this exhaust bracket on, 2 big bolts in it. Couldn't get that bolt in from the top. It was already missing. And the steering rack's in the way, and the tip of it's bent up. So that would need to be held down and maybe put in with a, man, I don't know, boxed in wrench. Might try that. I'm gonna put this bolt on the bottom of the exhaust here. I sprayed down all the old oil from the bottom of the engine with brake parts cleaner. So that's drying. I found the 2 bolts missing out of the transmission from the oil pan. And after I try to get this bolt in here, I'm going to try to get that sleeve out of there. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.